Good evening. It's 6:01 and we're going to go ahead and start the village board meeting for Monday, June 8th, 2026. It's 6:01 p.m. and we're here in the Village Hall boardroom. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Trustee Boyka, I think you have the land acknowledgement. Can you please offer that?
Yes. Before we begin this evening, we would like to recognize the Seneca Nation on whose ancestral territory we are gathering. The present-day village of Fairport sits on traditional Seneca land. The Seneca Nation, with the Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, and Tuscarora make up the sovereign Haudenosaunee Confederacy. With respect, we acknowledge the people of the Seneca Nation on whose land we now live. We honor their past, present, and future contributions to and stewardship of this land.
Thank you. Megan, can you take roll call, please?
Trustee Briggs?
Here.
Trustee Bonaski?
Hello.
Trustee Woyka?
Evening.
Trustee Nazarian?
Here.
Mayor Domrach?
Here. Okay. We're going to move in just a moment to Citizens Forum. So if there's anyone who's joined us who was hoping to make a public comment during the Citizens Forum, if you would please sign up over on the sheet that's along the side of the room. But before we get to that, I'd like to give an update on the public safety plan that we talked about, or that I talked about at our last village board meeting. So the first point in the public safety plan was that we would be collaborating with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and we have already done that. So we're adding 4 additional officers in the village of Fairport on Friday and Saturday evenings. This is not a long-term contract. It's a temporary contract, and we'll look at how things are going on a month-by-month basis. But there are 4 officers who are working together with our 2 officers who are on staff on Friday evenings to help provide community policing. So they're out walking around in the community, and it's been going very well so far, at least as the feedback comes from our police department. Number 2, our management team is actively working to fill several important positions. I don't have any further updates on the police chief, but we're expecting that to come to a conclusion in the very near future, hopefully by the end of June. And as soon as I have a name that I can actually announce for that position, it'll be out on our website. We'll be announcing it at village board meetings. I can update our code enforcement officer position has been filled, and that person will be coming on board very shortly. 2 weeks, 3 weeks? 2 weeks. So as soon as that person is actually on board, we will make sure that that announcement goes out for that position and it's filled. We have police officer vacancies, which we will be working to fill. We're kind of waiting on having our new chief in place to help with that, and it's really tough to fill a position when the person who is applying for the job doesn't know who their boss is going to be. So we're looking forward to filling those positions very, very soon. Also in line with the civil service laws of the state of New York, which we are required to follow. We will continue working with state agencies. I don't have any updates on that particular bullet, but I wanted to make sure that I gave those other updates. And our village board and staff will continue reviewing ideas and adding additional solutions as we move forward, especially as we get these key roles filled in the next coming weeks. In addition to that, there's something that I would like to share. Village employees, whether police, DPW, Village Hall staff, Fairport Electric, the departments of planning and code, are dedicated public servants who work each day to support the Fairport community and provide the best possible experience for those who live, work, and visit here. There are strong standards of ethics and conduct to keep employees away from political fray that can develop. In my desire to protect village employees from politics, and in this case, our police department, I made an error in judgment. I posted on my own personal page a picture which I removed the political component. The post was to thank not only the police department, but also the DPW, the fire department, Parrington Ambulance Corp. For the planning and support that was delivered to vendors, attendees, and the volunteers of Canal Days. The image has since been replaced, again, on my own personal social media page. And while I admit that I made this error, I stand by our employees. They should not be used as pawns in political posts, whether those are in support of them or critical of them. They are not political, and they have strong ethical guidelines that they are required to follow. With that, we will move forward to hearing from you. And here's what we request from those wishing to participate during Citizens Forum. So I'll read through our policy right now. Letters will not be read, but will be added to the meeting minutes. The public may speak only during the meeting's Citizens Forum and at any other time that the majority of the board allows. Speakers must be recognized by the presiding officer, that would be me. Speakers must step to the podium in the front of the room. They would say their name and their address. They must limit their remarks to 5 minutes unless a majority of the board allows them additional time. Speakers may not yield any remaining time that they have to another speaker. And board members, with the permission of the mayor or the presiding officer, interrupt a speaker during their remarks, but only for the purpose of clarification or further information. All remarks must be addressed to the board as a body and not to individual board members. Speakers must observe the commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste. No cheering, imitating, or intimidating behavior, or clapping. All written communications shall be submitted to the clerk treasurer, Megan, mac@fairportny.com. Her email address is available on our website under the clerk treasurer's office. And with that, Megan, do you have the list of speakers?
I'm having a little bit of trouble reading, but the address is 187 South Main. Agnes. Let me make sure the mic's on for you.
Good evening, Randy.
Good evening. I have some concerns. It has to do primarily with speed enforcement in the village. I live on 250, 187 South Main Street, and every single day, every single night, people are speeding at excessive levels. And we have no coverage. And you say we have the people from Monroe County, but according to the FOIL agreement that I had the clerk print for me, no one in Monroe County has been making addresses for speeding over the time period that you've had them working for us. That does not help. Also, we're getting to the point where there's so many people speeding that we're going to have situations like what had occurred in Pittsford, where they actually had a bus-car accident. The driver was killed, the passenger was completely disabled, and the elementary kids had to go to trauma training to realize what had happened. And I don't want that in our village, okay? I want us to have a police force that is out there and enforces the speed limit. Specifically on 250, there are 4 separate 30-mile-an-hour signs going into the village. There's a flashing sign that indicates the speed, and there's 2 signs that are hard signs that show children at play. That doesn't deter anything. It's not been a deterrent because we don't have enough staff, and we don't have people actually sitting there on the roadside as they do in other communities around us now in Pittsford, Macedon, and Palmyra, where they have this 24 pages is probably twice as big because they have so many arrests for speeding to try and control it. We don't have that. In the 14 months that this FOIL agreement covers, from 25 to 26, we have only had 18 arrests for speeding out of 24 pages of documents. We're not enforcing the speed limit. We don't have the people to. I talked with one of the officers. They're working 13-hour days, and they're getting burned out. And then they have to go to the town to basically go and be there for any kind of appearances for the tickets. In addition, you basically have dissolved the court. There's 24 pages of cash here that goes to the town instead of to the village. You tell me that there's not enough revenue, and I'm saying there's not enough enforcement. In the month of 26, we only have 6 pages out of the 24 filled with tickets. And as far as speeding tickets, 1. This is not an acceptable way to run the village. You might think it is. You might think that you've done the enforcement and you've paid off the budget, but when I talk to the officers, they don't even have scanners that can clearly identify the license plates of the vehicles that they're wanting to pull over. If you're enforcing, you're obviously not enforcing the right things. And if you think that flashing sign is slowing everyone down, it's not. There's no physical cars on 250 or the other roads that lead into the village that are also 30 miles an hour. So I don't know if we're going to have to do like what I'm an OSHA person. What typically happens for people to change is a death. And that's what we're heading down, because the frequency of people speeding is going to eventually catch up to end up being accidents, and then serious accidents. And because there's no police enforcement, because we don't have enough members of the police force, we have more vehicles than we do officers, and obviously Monroe County isn't arresting anyone for speeding. So that, as much as you like that program, I don't think it's being really effective. I saw so far in several nights on weekends and multiple weekends where I saw one officer in a car that just drove down the street, 250. Now, if he would have just been parked at our house or close by, he could arrest every single car that was driving down on the weekends, every single time. It's that bad. And if you're bored, you think you're doing a good job, you're not. Maybe you're gonna do things like they did in Pittsford. They actually put in some slow down bumps and some sidewalk raised areas so that way cars would have to slow down. You know, there's way too many buses that are dropping off kids on 250. And some of them have to cross the street. And I don't wanna see, you know, children accidents, because it'll come back to you because you haven't put the effort into enforcement, as the 3 other communities around us that do. And they have had an issue, obviously, in Pittsford, which had to change how they do things, reduce the speed to 250 and put in other features to try and slow down traffic. In the other villages, in Macedon and Palmyra, they just do enforcement. They don't care who it is, weekends, holidays, festivals, it doesn't matter. They arrest people. And they obviously have more than enough money generated from that to have village courts running actively. We have 24 pages of lost revenue because we closed ours down. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I think that I said no clapping, please. Thanks. I know you're new, but no clapping. Okay, who's next on the list, Megan?
Elizabeth King, 94 Potter Place.
Hi, Liz.
Good evening. Yes, my name is Elizabeth King. I live at 94 Potter Place, which is also at the corner of Potter and Hulbert. I'm here tonight to actually express my support for some initiatives that I hope are going to happen. Some representatives of the board have been kind enough to meet with me and discuss some of these initiatives that could increase safety in the village on streets, and also make it possible for cyclists and other alternative transportation users to use the streets more and get into the village more, and generally make the village more accessible to residents, make Main Street more accessible to residents. So some of those initiatives that we discussed were either some type of raised box intersection at the Potter-Hulbert intersection, which most of you will know is it's the intersection where Minerva DeLand and Joanna Perrin schools are, and it's just down the hill from Brooks Hill, so it would make a huge difference to safety for something like that. Another initiative discussed in that area, and also at the Main Street crossing at the top of Hulbert, was non-permanent or even permanent installations that would narrow the lanes to hopefully slow down drivers and maybe even induce them to stop in intersections because they are already slowing down. And then we also talked about things like temporary bike lanes on Main Street, where we would actually suspend on-street parking in order to make safe bike lanes on particular days, such as the big canal ride that's coming through in just a few weeks. If we could make Main Street safe for those hundreds of cyclists, they're going to be visiting the village on the canal. That would be an amazing first step and a way to show that we could be a safe village for people, for everyone, and not just people who drive cars down Main Street. So I want to express my thanks for people meeting with me and my support. I think these are really great first steps to promote mobility and transportation equity within the village. And, I look forward to these and more. So thank you.
Thanks for being here. Who do we have next?
Pamela Shielden, 131 South Main Street.
Good evening. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Pamela Sheldon, lifelong Parrington resident, own 131 South Main Street. And what got me here was the Village Board work session agenda from last week. Bottom of page 7, top of page 8. Fairport does not have much undeveloped land within its borders. Most undeveloped locations are, so-and-so. And I'm kind of just I don't come and speak at these. I don't think you'll answer the question here, but I don't know when this idea came about, why it came about.
I think what you're referring to is the
The
sustainable.
low-income housing. The low-income,
Are you talking about the sustainability plan that we're just reviewing?
well, I'm just,
Okay,
as you
we're only in a
review.
review process.
Okay, so
So-
I'm just here to say I have concerns.
Okay.
When would you, do you just push it to a vote, or do people get to speak about their concerns?
No.
Before you-
I'm happy to hear your concerns, and I think the rest of the board is happy to hear your concerns. What I'm just trying to explain is we're just going through it. We haven't done anything with it. We haven't adopted it. It's an update to an existing plan from 2010, and we're just starting the review process. So I'm
Yeah,
grateful
yeah.
for I just wanted to make it clear.
Good, no,
We
that's good,
haven't-
because I did not know.
Yeah,
So
so
that
we're
helps,
just
yeah.
talking about it right now.
Okay.
So please share the rest of your comments. I apologize.
Because kind of to what the first gentleman said, Fairport's amazing. I've lived here my entire life. There's a lot of people here. I feel like we need to take care of what we have here. I just got worried when I saw this, wondering if it was there's some push in the state that we need X amount of low-income housing. Do we get some benefits for that? I feel like we have plenty of people here already. We need to do well and manage those that we have here. And parking has been an ongoing issue right now. I can only imagine if there was housing. How big would the units be? How many residents? What type would these be? Military? What demographic would they be? They're going to have visitors coming that are going to want to park somewhere, even if they can walk to their jobs and might not drive. It's a village, not a city. So I just personally kind of panicked when I saw that, because I know all of it, parking has been a big thing. And then those 2 locations proposed are places that people really rely on to park. And so that was kind of,
Please don't let it get you worried.
I was worried.
We're just
I'm so worried.
We're just at the initial stages of going through.
So I had to come and say.
Well, I'm glad you did. I'm really glad you gave feedback. I just want to reassure you, we are just starting the process of going through that, and The village, I totally understand your comments, and I think the rest of the board understands your comments. But we've done nothing with that. We're just reviewing it. This was put together by a group of people who are the Sustainability Committee who met, and they are giving suggestions to the village. We are going through it with our staff and for us, chapter by chapter.
Okay.
And as we go through it, some things are outside the scope of what we would do. Some things are inside the scope, but we'll be discussing it probably at least for the next 2 months.
And if you don't mind, I'm kind of cutting you. How does anything? I mean, that or something else. You know, you're in it's baby, not even stages. Are there a series of, like, is rezoning required? Is it already zoned for that if need be? I mean, like, you know, like what kind of stuff?
I don't even know what's proposed in there. We haven't covered that section.
Okay. See, for one
But-
time I'm ahead of.
We're, I don't even know,
okay,
when you
that's
said,
fine.
like, in a certain position, I'm like, I don't know that we've even looked at that yet.
Okay, 'cause there's a lot. I know.
So
there's a lot. Yeah.
It's, we would not propose rezoning for that. That's meant to work with whatever we have going on in this village.
Okay.
And like I said, some of that will not even stay in there because it's outside the scope of what the sustainability plan is designed to do.
That helps. I appreciate it because I didn't
Sure.
know. I mean, truly.
I hope that helps.
It does.
What I would suggest is, we'll be talking about this at probably the next 3 work session meetings. So our work session meetings are recorded, they're on our website, and you're more than welcome to tune in. I'm sure that there's somebody tuning in from tonight for a village board meeting. The work sessions are just us working through, discussing topics. You're more than welcome to go on our website and get the link and view it at your leisure. It's on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, as well as the village board meetings are always up there too.
Okay. Thank you.
But I really appreciate you coming and sharing your concern.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Jim Tulloch, 136 West Church Street.
Hopefully, we didn't make you late for your next engagement.
Late is relative these days. This thing always looks like it's ready to take off. SpaceX. Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice to be here again. I was thinking the other night as to why, after almost 1 full year, the Fairport Village Police Department has yet to have a chief and remains understaffed. I don't sleep a lot some nights. Shouldn't qualified police officers want to work in Fairport? Pleasant village, good folks, great food, lots of bars. Why wouldn't someone jump at that opportunity? Has the village been actively trying to recruit qualified applicants? Have we no qualified applicants? I thought maybe it's the contract or the lack thereof. Contracts have been a big issue in Fairport. The last contract with our police department covered June 2020 through May 2025, and it was signed on May 15th, 2023. The new contract was for 2 full years late, and expired a year ago. In anticipation of our Fairport police contract expiring in June 2025, I would have believed that the village and our Fairport Police Department would have started to negotiate a new contract maybe, I don't know, early 2025, let's say. As of June 2026, there is no agreement. Why are negotiations between the village and the Fairport and the police department so difficult? A unit without a contract is not happy. The longer there's no contract, the worse it gets. People get angry. They don't feel appreciated. Word gets around. Every police officer knows. So I asked myself, what could be the big issues preventing an agreement? I looked over the current contract pretty well and thought, for the most part, not too bad. I felt that way until I got to Article 17, Fringe Benefits, Section 2, Health Insurance, where there was a distinction between officers hired before February 1, 2023, and those hired after February 1, 2023. Officers hired before February 1st, 2023, and retiring after 15 years or more of service in Fairport receive full retirement coverage until age 65. Officers hired after February 1, 2023, which was a while ago, must attain 20 years of service with the village to qualify for retiree health insurance. There is an exception for an officer who turns 55 with 15 plus years experience in Fairport. Bingo, the lights go on. 5 years makes a big difference. Any police officer hired by Fairport must plan to spend 20 years on the job here to collect full insurance benefits. Most local police officers in New York State retire between the ages of 45 and 50. This means, for the most part, officers over the age of 30 will never consider working in Fairport. That certainly reduces the pool of potential applicants to younger, less experienced candidates. Now it's much easier to begin to suss out why our Fairport Police Department is not fully staffed. Consistent, prolonged contractual negotiations signal a lack of respect for the department by village management. Who wants to work under those conditions? Most local police retire between 45 and 50, so any officer over the age of 30 will, in all probability, not apply. The only exception would be an officer retired and receiving full benefits from their previous job. I understand management's desire to lower the crazy costs of health insurance. Who knows what health care will cost in 2040? Efforts to reduce health care costs is a Sisyphean task and just creates hard feelings, frustration, and anger. This February 1, 2023 line in the sand may be keeping us from attracting our best candidates for our village. Incidentally, personally, I also object to selling out newborns for personal gain. I believe it's morally wrong. I also suspect the entire healthcare issue is what's prolonging negotiations. Face reality and get it done. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you for giving that information. We really appreciate it. And I have breaking news for you that I skipped over in my notes from the beginning of this when I was talking about our safety plan. We have a tentative agreement with our collective bargaining agreement with our police department. And we are awaiting everything to go through so that it can be ratified and we can adopt it. Have a great night. Okay, who's next on the list, Megan?
Ginny Mayer, 51 Dewey Ave.
Come on down, Ginny.
Hi, I'm Ginny Mayer, 51 Dewey Avenue, and I just want to echo what Liz said earlier. I think actually these issues related to traffic safety, speeding, and bicyclist and pedestrian safety are all related. The village is really designed for cars. Today, I biked here along Dewey Avenue. While I was on Dewey Avenue, which is a side street, I was yelled at by a young man in a Jeep telling me I should be on the sidewalk. So that's not true. The legal place for me to be everywhere in this village is on the road, including on Church Street and on Main Street, neither of which feel very safe. So you'll notice people all the time using the sidewalks. One way that we can slow down both vehicle traffic, slow down vehicle traffic and make it safer for bicyclists and other people using two wheels is to make protected bike lanes, which will narrow the lanes for driving and provide a safe place for bicyclists so that'll slow people down and it'll provide a safe place for bicyclists to ride. So I just want to reiterate what Liz said about the day that the Cycle the Erie Canal participants come through here. This is hundreds of participants on bicyclists who are traveling from Buffalo to Albany, I think. They go just to Albany on an 8-day trip. They usually get here on the Monday of that week. I think that's Monday, July 13th. When they get to Fairport, there's no bike lanes on Main Street, so they don't feel comfortable coming down Main Street. It's also fairly difficult to cross between Liftbridge Lane East and Liftbridge Lane West. They're going, west to east. They're going to the PCC, and they're going to cross the canal at the bridge on the trolley trail. So it seems like the least we could do to be a welcoming village would be to provide protection at that crossing, and also, in addition, to provide a one-day temporary bike lane along Main Street that would allow participants to visit the businesses along Main Street, see the new Main Street reconstruction that we've done, and provide an opportunity for the village, residents of the village, to see what it would be like to trade a little bit of parking, on-street parking, for a safe bike lane. I think it's a good opportunity. I hope you would consider it. I know it's short notice, but I think it would be a good practice for what that might look like, a good way to look at what that might look like. And also what Liz said about putting in temporary things that will narrow the roads at busy intersections. 250 and Hulbert is an obvious choice. Hulbert and Potter is another good choice to sort of slow people down as they come to these congested areas and protect the pedestrians nearby. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ginny. Okay, do we have somebody else?
Renee Rico.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for the
Hi.
opportunity to speak. I am a former Perrington resident and somebody who spends a lot of time in the village of
Okay.
Fairport. Okay. And
Can you state your name and your
Renee,
address?
I'm sorry, Renee Rico, 99 North Country Club Drive. I spend a lot of time in the village. I spend a lot of money in the village, patronizing the good businesses, the restaurants. I think Fairport's the most fun village Rochester has. So I've actually thought about moving back because I really enjoyed my time. But I am a financial person. I run a financial practice. I'm also a current economic commentator. And I think it's very important that, again, I don't know anybody on the Sustainability Committee, and I don't know what their background is, but I think it's significantly important to the public, in particular the taxpayers, to understand the costs of what looks like kind of a mini Green New Deal. Although sometimes things are well-intentioned, they sound good and they may feel good, but they may not be economically sound. And listening to the other comments here about traffic, police officers, very concerned about integrating low-income multi-structure housing in this community where there's not a whole lot of space to do that. Two, I think everybody has a right to know the definition of a climate refugee and where people will be coming from and what their value system are. I think that goes to public safety and how many young military-age men, who is vetting these people, where are they coming from, and who's paying for it. I think the public has a right to know. And if this hasn't been decided yet, you're talking about adding another population. So what does that do to the schools, the classes, the teachers, the current students? And a lot of Fairport is middle income. There's some high-income people here, but a lot of it's middle and some are low. And anything, if anybody's read the Green New Deal or the Paris Accord that has climate objectives, it's really, respectfully, a power grab by government to dictate who gets what. It's a redistribution of wealth. And a lot of people work really hard for their money, because I know I work for them, okay? And I think they have a right to know, and I would suggest the best thing you folks could do to Fairport, this community, is to have full disclosure. Every survey, I think you need to get some business people, some of these owners on the Sustainability Committee, because they're the ones going to bear the brunt of it, okay? So I just want
I'm
you
just going to let you know, there is no sustainability committee per se. That was a group of people who got together as a committee, sustainability committee. It was a short-term group of people who got together, created a document, and submitted it to the village. We're in the process of reviewing it.
Okay, well, who are these folks? I mean,
They are village residents.
okay, so I think it's really important to engage the businesses because the business people and taxpayers have a different view of government than government workers.
Sure.
So I just ask you that because I love it here and I spend a lot of money here and I won't come here if I don't feel safe, if I can't find a parking spot. And I would think the teachers and the students and the parents ought to know if these classrooms are going to have extra people in them and how are they going to be accommodated. Just really want you folks to think about that because things sound good and compassion, but sometimes it's suicidal empathy. And I don't think this village, the size that it is, and just the reputation it has, I mean, it really could take a major hit and people could just leave. So I just want to say that to you only because I've seen this across the country and it has failed. So if you could reflect that to the Sustainability Committee, whoever these folks are, and be mindful of that respectfully
Okay.
as you're
Again,
considering.
there is no sustainability committee. They existed in
So they're not-
2023.
so
It
they're
was a
gone?
group.
They're gone now? So
They're all people who live in this village.
okay, but they're
There
not,
is no official sustainability committee at this point in
At this
time.
point, but there
That was a
was.
report that was submitted to us
Okay.
to ask us to review it and see if we would incorporate it into the 2010 sustainability plan.
okay, well, I hope that I'm sure there's notes here that just
I
to
got it.
reflect that. So, okay,
I
thank you
got
very
it.
much for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Okay, where are we next, Megan? We're done? Okay. Last chance. All right, then I will close citizens forum at 6:37, sorry. And we'll move on to the rest of our agenda. Okay, so if there was anybody who was here just for the citizens forum, right now is a good time for you to leave before we move into the rest of the business. Thank you for coming this evening.
You're not done.
That was just citizens forum. Have a seat.
You're not done, guys. Friends,
Where you going?
That wasn't even any of the meeting. Okay, just know I am not your teacher right now. I'm working, so you decide what you're gonna do. We have a meeting to conduct.
We have a meeting to conduct, so either choose to sit down or leave. That's your choice. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll get on to the rest of the agenda. Under unfinished business, item number 1, a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of May 11th, 2026 village board meeting. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
By trustee Nazarian,
Second.
by trustee Wojtka. Any questions or concerns about those meeting minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will take us to item number 2, a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of the June 1st, 2026 village board work session.
So moved.
By trustee Wojtka,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. Any questions about those meeting minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous as well. Takes us to new business, a motion by the village board to authorize the 4th of July parade and race, subject to final approval by the village manager. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
By trustee Banowski,
Second.
by trustee Nazarian. Questions or comments from the board?
My only question is it the same route as last year, essentially? Yeah, okay.
Well, I think it'll be a
No,
little
no, no,
different
no.
because we don't, Main Street isn't closed.
It's the original route of the parade.
original, okay. Sorry, yeah, I forgot about that from last year. Thank you.
So the parade will start at the corner of Whitney Road and Main Street, travel down Main Street, turn to the west on West Church Street, and then it will go all the way to Parrington Park, and that's where the parade ends.
Okay.
And the start time is, as it's been for at least 50 years, 10 a.m. on July 4th. Do we have a route for the race?
That's what I was asking.
I thought that's what you were, but we're good.
Okay.
Do we have a route for the race?
We just got some documents this morning on the race from the race folks, so we'll be meeting with them to talk to them about that. But I think they are reverting back to the original route, so I think it goes from, I believe it's western end of Whitney, kind of by Parrington Park to North Main Street, to down South Main Street to West Church, and then back around O'Connor. I think
Okay.
that gets that 3.2 mile 5K.
Yep, okay, thanks.
And you're meeting with them?
We will be meeting with them as part of our
Okay.
plan. I
All
don't
right.
have the date.
Does anyone have any questions? Looking forward to the 4th of July. All right, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimously approved. Item number 2 is a motion by the village board to authorize the James Street residents to close the street for their annual block party on Saturday, July 4th, beginning at 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. Barricades will be provided for a block area of James Street from Briggs Ave to Hulbert Ave. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Trustee Woika,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. Any questions from the board?
Love a good block party.
And Megan, they have assured you that everybody is signed off on this party and that the street will remain open for access for neighbors. It's the same people who planned it every year, right? Okay. And we've never gotten any complaints about people not being able to get to their driveway or out of their driveway. Okay. Anything else from the rest of the board? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Then that will be unanimous. Item number 3 is a motion by the village board to engage BST and Company CPAs LLP to perform a financial statement audit of the Village of Fairport for fiscal year ending May 31st, 2026, and to authorize Julie M. Domratz as mayor to sign the engagement letter.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs,
Second.
by trustee Banowski. Questions for Megan or for Brian? Same company that we've used for, I don't know, how many years now? Since before I got here. Okay. All right, then all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous as well. Item number 4 is a motion by the village board to authorize payment of the audited bills.
So moved.
By trustee Nazarian,
Second.
by trustee Banowski. Any questions about the bills? Okay, who has
I reviewed
the,
them and found everything to be in order. There were just a few things that stood out. Trustee Briggs pointed out a few things. We have new chairs, so that's coming along well, and it's nice we have folks who provided those also have a contract with New York State, so we were able to get the new seating at a rate that's much less than we would if we had gone out and been able to, or engaged with another set of folks. And we're working through the debt service just for all, for Main Street, and just making sure things are moving around and people are getting paid and we're getting the money we need to from all the different funding sources to be able to do that. We did not get an invoice for our composting system, but I'm gonna guess it's somewhere around 2.2 and 2.4 tons.
so everybody start composting more so we can get that number up.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That will pass unanimously. Item number 5 is a motion by the village board to amend a previously approved amount of $70,000 to pay health and dental insurance premiums paid in the month of June to $56,788.78.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs,
Second.
by trustee Woika. This is pretty much the same thing we see every month. Any questions, though? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That'll be unanimous. Item number 6 is a motion by the village board to authorize the clerk treasurer to pay health and dental insurance premiums for the month of July at an initial estimated amount not to exceed $70,000, subject to audit and amending authorization by the village board at their regularly scheduled July meeting.
So moved.
By trustee Manosky,
Second.
by trustee Nazarian. Seeing no questions that are glaring out there, I'll ask, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That one will be unanimous. Okay, before we move to announcements and committee reports, there was a supplemental agenda to this village board meeting for 2 appointments to the junior members of the DeLand Hose Company. So item number 1 is a motion by the village board to appoint Andrew Thomas Ozinski as a junior member of the DeLand Hose Company of the Fairport Fire Department. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I'll give it to trustee Briggs and then follow up by trustee Wojka. Do we have any idea what the age range for junior members is? High school? Okay,
That's right.
sounds about right. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Congratulations, Andrew Thomas Ozinski, as the newest junior member of the DeLand Hose Company of the Fairport Fire Department. Yay. I think it's similar to like Explorers was. Okay. Item number 2 is a motion by the village board to appoint Ethan James Ozinski, somehow I think they're probably related, as a junior member of the DeLand Hose Company of the Fairport Fire Department.
So moved.
By trustee Nazarian,
Second.
by trustee Wojka. Any questions, comments? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. And welcome to the next newest member of the junior member of the DeLand Hose Company of Fairport Fire Department, Ethan James Ozinski. And that will take us to announcements and committee reports. So, want to start here and then we'll just work our way down.
It was a successful Canal Days. We got lucky with the weather. I know we were all sweating it out a little bit. It was nice to see so many people out and about. I actually chatted with a couple of the Department of Public Works workers this morning when I was stopping to pick up my coffee, and I said, "So, how is it?" And they said, "Not bad." So they were out cleaning up, running around, getting everything ready for a work week, and seemed in a good mood. So that was good to see. This afternoon, the fire department representatives, the 3 chiefs from the fire department, met with Megan, Brian, the mayor, me, and with representatives from Jen Townsend from Town of Harrington, to make sure we're all on the same page with budgetary issues and stuff. And that's one of the things that we're working on, is making sure that everybody that's involved with the fire department is talking to one another on a regular basis. So that was a really successful, really useful meeting, and I think everybody walked away with some good clarity. So it was nice to see. Great, that's all for me.
Trustee Wojka.
I don't have any big announcements. I do want to thank everyone for their work for Canal Days, all the different groups that are involved, from PD, DPW, Village Management, to the Merchants Association, the Art Committee, everyone, all the volunteers, the volunteer coordinators. There are a lot of working pieces behind the scenes that go into making Canal Days successful, and I want to just state my appreciation for everyone that's involved with that. That's it. That's all I got.
Right now, this spring we had our tree planting, and then the tree board doesn't meet until the fall. But in the meantime, we could already see it's getting hotter out there. Make sure you keep hydrated. Check in on your neighbors. School is getting out this month, so keep an eye out as well. And congrats to graduates as it's coming up. A few folks have mentioned the bike event coming through on July 15th, where they come along the Erie Canal and camp out. I think it's over by the rec center. Yeah, I thought there was some interesting ideas there. Maybe kick them around a little bit. Find ways to get folks to come in and maybe spend some more money in the village. Could be an interesting, forgive the pun, avenue to explore. I guess my only thing here too is, Brian, I don't know if it's helpful for folks to know, I don't know what all we can share about the negotiations, like when they started for the police department. Are we allowed to get into some of that or no? Because I know there's certain things we can and can't.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the negotiations. Those are protected under the law, but those commenced way before the termination of the existing agreement, have been ongoing and productive as of today. And we have a tenant agreement, and there's not been any ill will or bad negotiations. These things take time. And there's not a fault of management or this village board or anyone else. They're a collective process that factors in a lot of different things. And this is the process. Officers don't lose by this. They're protected by the Taylor Law and the Triborough Amendment. Their contract stays in place. Nothing goes by the wayside, and everything's retroactive to the commencement date of the new agreement. So, but we do have a tentative agreement. It has been ratified by the police union, and the village board has discussed this in private and has agreed with it as well. So it's just a matter of time of redrafting the agreement to verbalize the sentiment of the terms and conditions, and the board within the next 2 to 4 weeks, will have the agreement before them for your consideration.
Thanks. That's all.
Well, the advantage of going last. Canal Days, again, it was a wonderful event. I was there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We had some wonderful weather and talked to a lot of the merchants and the vendors, and it was really successful. And it's kind of like that's our kickoff for summer. I mean, this was our 49th annual, so everybody looks forward to it. And it's kind of like summer's really here now that we've had Canal Days. When they did the duck drop, it was a little odd. There was no current, so the ducks were there for a while. We kind of came up to them versus them floating down. But again, the streets were just packed with people. It's really, really exciting. And then just a couple things about Cycle the Canal, because I've been involved with that for the last few years. At the Parent and Rec Center, they do open up the pool, and they bring in masseuses, they bring in food trucks, and they provide shuttle buses back and forth, and our vendors our merchants offer very specific specials to get them in here. So whether they're biking back or not is not really the point. They really put on entertainment, swimming, masseuses, so, and they get their tents all set up, and the merchants very much support that, with bringing them back in for, with shuttle buses that run nonstop for them. So, looking forward to getting that on the calendar. Well, it's like you got to finish Canal Days and then we move on to the next.
Okay. I have one last update that the planters are in. Not the hanging baskets, those are still coming, but as part of our streetscape, there were a series, roughly right, how many planters are there, Brian?
35 to 40.
Okay, and those will be up and down Main Street. Those are at ground level, and then the next layer of flowers that we wanted to wait until after Canal Days so that they didn't drip on anybody's tents comes in another few weeks. That
Hanging
will have.
baskets will be up this week.
They'll be up this week? Okay. So the planters are starting to appear. The hanging baskets will be up this week. And for the question that Sarah got, there's how long ago that was I said that, there's at least 2 signs that are spelled wrong on Main Street. One of them is Packett's Landing, the other one is DeLand. And DeLand should be spelled capital D, lowercase e, capital L, A-N-D. That will be replaced. Packett's Landing still has to be replaced. And there is one more sign that I believe is DeLand Park A that hasn't been changed out at all. It's on the list for our vendor. As soon as the signs come in, they will replace those signs or put the first edition of the new sign up there. And we're waiting on them to show up with those signs to put them in. So yes, they are coming. They'll be here soon. That's all I can say. I don't know when they'll be here, but they'll be here soon. They'll be here before we get to the end of summer. How's that? So they'll be taking care of those 2 signs. And that's the last thing I have. I think we're good to move on. Everybody got their announcements out? Okay. So upcoming village board meetings. There's a village board work session Monday, June 22nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in Village Hall. There's another village board meeting July 13th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Meetings will be held in Village Hall at 31 South Main Street. And I'm just going to throw this in here because it's the week before our next work session. So we will be celebrating or honoring or observing Juneteenth, which is June 19th this year, as part of our regular schedule. And Village Hall and village offices and all village offices will be closed on that day like we do for the 4th of July. So that's it for those. The meetings are all held in this room. They're also carried on YouTube and will be posted on YouTube at the completion of the meeting. And with that, I'd like to ask the village board for a motion to adjourn. So moved. By trustee Briggs.
Second.
By trustee Nazarian. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be it. Have a great evening. The meeting is over. For everybody in the first row, please feel free. Oh, in the second row as well. You are under no obligation to stay here any longer.
Men and high school students, if you need an agenda, I will have it available in my office in the morning. I got you. Oh, I'd rat you out so fast. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes.